Hi friends, wishing you a blessed day. In the previous class, we have talked about roots, stem, leaf. Today we are going to talk about the main part of a plant, that is flower. We all know that flowers are the most colorful and attractive part of all the plants. See, flowers are different in color. Now let me ask, what is the function of a flower? What is the function of a flower? ഒരു ഫ്ലവറിന്റെ function എന്താണ്? Anybody? Yes, it helps in reproduction. Flower is the reproductive part of a plant. Okay children, this is the stem of a plant. This is flower, and this flower is attached to the stem with a part. It is known as pedicel. Okay, this part is known as pedicel, and in the pedicel, above the pedicel, you can find a broad part. This is known as thalamus. Okay, this is thalamus, and the next part, and top of this thalamus, you can see the other different parts of flower. So what are the other different parts of flower? There are sepal, petals, then male and female reproductive part. It is known as anther and pistil. Now let's take a flower. This is a hibiscus flower. This is a stalk-like part. It is known as pedicel, and there another broad part. It is known as thalamus. Okay, now we are going to take each and every part of a flower. First we said sepal. Let's find the role of a sepal. Here you can see the green whorl around a bud. This is bud, it is not bloomed. Okay, after blooming you will find such type of flower. So beautiful, right? Yes. Okay, so what is the role of a sepal? See, this sepal is protecting the bud. Sepal give protection to the bud. After blooming, we can find the beautiful colorful part. It is known as petals. Petals are the most attractive part. Why it is very attractive? In order to attract the insects and bees for pollination. Okay, we will see what is pollination later. Before we will talk the different parts. Okay, so this colored part is known as petal. So we said petal attract the insects to suck the honey. Okay children, I am going to remove the sepal, the green whorl. We said about the green whorl, it give protection to the bud, right? Yes, I have already removed. Then in the inner whorl we can find petal, most attractive part of a flower, petal. I am going to remove petal too. So I have removed petal. Now let's see the remaining part. A male reproductive part and a female reproductive part. Here can you see a yellowish colored part? It is known as pollen grain. See, it is just like powdery. You can see a powdered part upon my finger. It is known as pollen grain. What is this? It is pollen grains. See, these pollen grains will be transferring from one flower to another flower during the time of pollination. So, this always seen in the male reproductive part. So, what is the male reproductive part in a flower? So, stamen is the male reproductive part in a flower. Again, let's see what are the different parts of a stamen. This stamen is again divided into two. Here you can find a filament-like part. See, a filament-like structure. See, upon that, a yellowish part, anther. Okay, children, there are two main parts in a stamen. One is filament, and the other one is anther. So, anther and filament are the two main parts of stamen. So, that is the main part of a flower. Okay, so upon the anther you can find a yellow powdered like structure. It is called pollen grains. Okay, and when these honeybees suck the nectar from the flower, what happens? These pollen grains will be stick towards their legs. Okay, and when they go and sit upon the other flower, what happens? These pollen grains will be falling in the stigma of another flower. Then pollination takes place. I hope the concept is clear to you. And so we were talking about the male reproductive part. So I have already removed all the male reproductive part. Then let's see what is the remaining part. Now the remaining part is female reproductive part. Okay, this is female reproductive part. So in female reproductive part also there are three main parts. It's just like a flask-like structure. Okay, and what is the name of this female reproductive part? It is known as pistil. What is? It is known as pistil. So pistil is the female reproductive part of a flower. Okay, again pistil again divided into three parts. One is stigma, style and ovary. Okay, stigma, style and ovary. These three are the three main parts of female reproductive part, that is pistil. Okay, so stigma, this is uppermost part of pistil. Next one, style. After stigma it is style. Then it moved to the ovary. This is called ovary. Okay, so the pollen grains will be falling in the stigma. So from the stigma the pollen grains will be moved to the ovary. So from where the fertilization takes place? The fertilization takes place from the ovary. Okay, and egg is produced in ovary after fertilization. So this part is known as ovary. Okay, so if we take a transverse section of ovary, we can find many small egg-like structure. It is known as ovules. So inside the ovary we can find many egg-like structure. It is known as ovule. This ovule will be turned into seeds and the ovary will be turned into fruits. Ovary is turned into fruits and inside the ovary. So I will just show what is ovule. See, this is called ovary. So inside the ovary we can find many egg-like structure. Can you see? Can you see? See many egg-like, the small egg-like structure. It is known as ovules. So these ovules will be turned into seeds. I hope the different parts of a flower is clear to you. Okay, there are two more topics in this chapter. Pollination and photosynthesis. Okay, now let's see pollination. Now we are going to see what is pollination. We said the word pollination, but we did not explain it. So what is pollination? Pollination means transfer of pollen grains from one flower to another flower. Transfer of pollen grains from anther. Anther is a male part. From anther to the stigma. Stigma is female part. So transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of same flower or the other flower of same plant. For pollination, who all will be helping? Insects, water, wind. All these are the different factors which helps in pollination. So once again, what is pollination? Pollination means the transfer of pollen grains. We said the yellowish powder. The transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma can be in the same flower itself or the different flower of same plant. So this process is known as pollination.
Children, I hope the different parts of flower and pollination is clear to you. So in another video, I will be talking about transpiration and photosynthesis.